Okay, so today we're going to do a pretty cool recipe. It's going to be hash browns with an infused rosemary and garlic oil. So it's a pretty cool, very delicious, probably a different approach to hash browns, but if you make this, it's going to be good. I'm pretty sure if you like potatoes, then you'll like this. So let's get started. All right, so first things first, we're gonna go ahead and skin the potatoes. So let's get that started. Grab a bowl or do this over the dumpster. All right, so we're just gonna easily skin the potatoes, okay? And you wanna do a good job. Try not to leave too much skin on the potatoes, but good enough. Once the potatoes are peeled, okay, everything's all peeled, we're gonna cut off the ends. So just cut off the end part of each side of the potato. Alright, so the next thing we're gonna do is you're gonna have to find any kind of cheese grater that you have laying around. Something preferably like this will work. Okay, here's the secret thing. You're gonna need a bowl of water. Okay, so grab this water. So there's my bowl of water, as you can see. Okay, you're gonna take your cheese grater and then you're gonna start, and that's why we went ahead and cut off the end of the potato, because it's gonna make it a lot easier to go ahead and start grating your potato. So let's get started. Okay, let's not drop the potato in the freaking bowl. So let's take this thing out. You can go ahead and start. Okay, just remember when you start to get to the end of your potato, it's already done. You don't want to scratch up your fingers. It's happened to me in the past. So don't go any further. That's good enough, okay? And then start on the next one. Whew, that's an arm workout, man. Oh man. So if anybody tells you that making hash browns isn't a workout, it's definitely a workout. Okay, it gets those arms pumping. So just remember, it is a bit of an exercise going ahead and shredding the potatoes. So, all right, so that's done. All right. Basically, when you have it inside of the water, it's soaking up all that starch. So you want to get all that starch out. You can actually just start squeezing it and dunking it back in the water so you can get all the starch out in the potato, okay? So just take some time, maybe like 2 minutes, let it soak in there, and then you're gonna take it out and we're gonna dry it. And I would say probably one of the most important things about making hash browns is getting potatoes extremely dry before you start putting it in the pan. So just keep that in mind. So now we're gonna go ahead and strain your potatoes. Okay, so there's the starch. You can see that the starch is yellow in color. And that's what you're looking for. You're looking for that starch to rise inside of your bowl. And now we can start straining it. So I have a strainer right here. And so I'm gonna go ahead and dump this in here. Okay. And you'll see kind of a milky a milky-ish color. But that's you're literally draining the rest of it. Okay, so you want to start squeezing the potatoes and get the rest out as much as you possibly can. So just take your hand and just squeeze. Okay, this is helping get rid of all the moisture inside. By the way, as a rule, never put salt, because salt is going to make this even more waterier. Okay, because salt will soak up the moisture and it'll become even more soggy. So salt is a big no-no. Okay, just keep squeezing until you can get as much drained out. Okay, keep going. And you know, sometimes this can actually be a process, but at the same time, once you do it a few times, it becomes a lot easier and a lot more enjoyable. Okay, so now you want to go ahead and put this in a dry bowl. So how that's going to work is the potatoes are going to sit right there. Okay, I'm going to get a dry bowl. So here you have it. So you have your dry bowl, and then you have your potatoes. All we're gonna do is pick up a little handful. Okay, you're gonna go over your sink and you're gonna squeeze. Okay, get as much out as you can. Okay, and then put it in the dry bowl. Same thing applies. Okay, like I said, this process, you definitely want this as much moisture out of the potatoes as you possibly can. Okay. Okay. All right, so now that we've taken the first step of drying the potatoes, now what we're gonna do is take the second step, and that's putting it on a paper towel. So get like 3 layers of paper towel so it could really soak in the rest of the moisture. So let's go ahead and take out our potatoes. Okay. Okay, spread it out a little bit. All right, and then take your next layer and go ahead and start pressing down. And that's gonna help get rid of most of the moisture that's already in the side of the potatoes. And you just wanna keep pressing down until you basically feel a lot of the water come up inside of the paper towel, but that's why you have layers of it. All right, so just make sure you turn the paper towel over so you have more of the side that's drier, and you can go ahead and start pressing down again, okay? And I can already tell this is pretty good. All right, you basically now just kind of want to let it air out a little bit. All right, and then also loosen it up a bit. Okay, and now just let it sit there. Put it back in the bowl. So there's the bowl originally we had. So you can dump it right back in there. Okay, and that's it. Your ending result should look something like this. When you pick it up, you don't feel any water. It should feel quite dry to the touch. And you know you're done. Loosen it up a little bit and let them air out for about 5 minutes. All right, cut the camera. All right, so now we're gonna start the process of making the infused oil. Okay, sharpen up your knife a little bit. Okay, no, I'm not doing that to be fancy, but honestly, sharpening up your knife is important. All right, so let's start the next part up. Make sure your knife is sharpened. All right, we're gonna make the infused oil. So with that being said, how an infused oil is made is you basically have your oil, try to get a extra virgin olive oil, and starting from your right is oregano, rosemary, and chives. Okay, I use 3 pieces of garlic as well. So let's go ahead and start chopping away. So I have the garlic, I'm gonna go ahead and chop this away. Okay, remove the skin. I'm gonna pull it off. Alright, remove the root. Alright, and you can go ahead and start chopping this. Alright, put your garlic over to the side. And then you can go ahead and start picking out. So for the oregano, I like to go ahead and peel off the leaves. Okay, so peel off the leaves. And you basically kind of want to do as much as you want. The more you put in, the more flavor, just remember that. Okay, that should be good. Okay, and then grab a stem of rosemary. Now you're not going to be using all this, but just a little bit will go a long way. And remember, rosemary's kind of strong. Okay, that should be good enough. And just a little bit of chives. That's it. You guys can go ahead and start cutting this up. Everything is already cut, so you just have garlic, rosemary, chives, and oregano. So these 3 are done. So we can take this to the heat. It's a pan on. Okay, you're going to go ahead and turn up the heat. Now make sure it's. I probably go a lower heat. Okay, let that heat up just a little bit. Just so you know, how you tell if it's warm is that you take some water and spritz it on there. And if you can hear the sizzle, then it's ready to go. So go ahead and dump some oil on there. Okay, it doesn't matter however much oil you basically want to save after. Okay, I'm going to do about there. I don't measure it, like I said, just throw it in there. Maybe even a little bit more. Okay, once the oil's in there, you go ahead and start immediately throwing all of your vegetables, or not vegetables, but your spices. Okay, so I'm going to take the garlic and rosemary and throw it in there with the chives and the oregano, just like that. Okay. You basically work that in there into the oil. Should bring up a nice smell. And just let it slowly cook. Probably turn down the heat to the lowest point. And this is how you infuse an oil. And you're basically extracting the herbs and all the flavor into the oil. Okay? Keep moving it around as well. Alright, so it's been on there for about 3 minutes. Okay? I've slowly been cooking it. And you don't want to burn, so do not burn the garlic or really anything else, okay? Just keep it nice and light. Once you start it to see a little golden brown, then we're done and we can strain it. So take your strainer and go ahead and dump into your bowl. Okay, if you want to save, you can actually save this for maybe something else. I don't know what you would use that for, but there's your end result. There's your infused oil. Okay, so get your heat back on. Just make sure your heat is in the medium. Okay, not too high, but not too low. Pan on. Okay, wait for it to heat up. Alright, so once the pan is hot, like I said, you can go ahead and take the water, put it on there, but in this case, I already know it's hot enough. So you're gonna take your piece of butter, okay, just a size like that, place it right in the middle. Okay, let that boil up just a little bit. Take your infused oil, dump some of your oil in there. Should be good. Okay, mix it up just a little bit. Okay, now throw in your potatoes. There's our potatoes. Okay. You're gonna go ahead and mix these around. Okay, looks good. Okay, take a spatula and go ahead and start mixing it just a little bit more. Okay. Then you're going to go ahead and flatten it. So don't be afraid, take your hand. So even it out. Take your hand, press. Okay, now take your spatula and come up against the corners so you kind of get a circle going on it. Okay, this is what this is doing, is that it's strengthening like the end of your hash browns. So just kind of go like so. Okay, and then go ahead and take your cover. Okay, that should be good. And cover. Okay, let it cover for about 5 minutes. So about 3 minutes into it, take off your lid. Okay, take 3 pieces of butter and put it on the side. Okay, now what you want to do is move the pan. Okay, what this is doing is that it's getting the butter underneath so it crisps up the bottom. Okay, and then let it cook for until you start to see crispiness on the bottom. So let it cook. Okay, so we have your hash browns, and basically once it kind of looks like it's sticking together, it's ready to be flipped. And if it's browning on the edges, it's ready to be flipped. So put your cover back on. Okay, this may take a little practice. So you're gonna put your lid on, you're gonna flip it. Okay, just like that. See that? That takes skill. Okay, put your pan back on. You're gonna take your oil, you're gonna re-oil the pan. Okay, so I'm gonna re-oil the pan just a little bit. Go ahead and mix it up. And what you're gonna kind of do is gently move your hash browns onto the pan. Okay, put a little bit of butter. Okay, now watch. I'm gonna go ahead and slide it right back on the pan. Okay. Just like that. Okay, put it back on the fire. Okay, it's already looking brown. Just make sure you take your spatula and kind of edge it back up, okay? So just fill that in, okay? And now you cook without the lid, so no more lid. All right, so it's already off the pan, so we're gonna go ahead and put it on the plate. And there you guys have it. All right, before you guys go ahead and dig in, okay, remember, I didn't put any sort of salt inside. Okay, so that's salt, it's unsalted. Take the salt now, Put a little bit on top. Okay, just a little bit of pepper. And if you want, you can put on some red pepper flakes, and that'll give it a little bit more of a kick. But there you guys have it. That's it. We're done. All right, so now we're gonna go ahead and try it out. We're gonna see how bad it tastes.
Absolutely. Let's dig in.
Let's dig in. Go ahead and grab your piece.
Thank you, Mr. J.
Yep.
This looks great.
Oh, it's so crispy too. Good. Good?
You did a really good job. It's pretty smooth, crisp.
The cool thing is that since you infuse the oil, you can already taste it in with the, so you can taste the herbs, you can taste the rosemary, the chives, and the fresh oregano that we used. And it tastes really good.
Yeah, it's not boring. It's worthy of a good dish, so I like it.
Yep. Nice job. Hope you guys like it. See you guys in the next video.